Mike McCool here in the Royal Examiner Studios, and with me this morning is our new EDA director, Doug Parsons. Doug, thank you for coming in. I know that you have been taking a lot of heat here lately, or at least been in the fire, so I thought we could let the citizens of our county know what our new EDA director is all about, meet him. You're kind of one of those jobs that people really don't see you very often. And you're not out and about in the headlines normally, and so we hope that we can talk about the EDA. Let's talk about really going forward. I think most people already know what's happened in the past, and putting a black mark on our community. So we want to kind of put that behind us. That'll work itself out, I think, over the next months. And but we just can't sit around and wait. We got a lot of things that are good here in the county. So tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you were one of many candidates that they looked at. So somehow you rose to the top. So I'm just wondering, wonder what made them pick you,
Well, hopefully it was my experience. I've been in economic development or Chamber of Commerce work for about 25 years now. I started off in 1991 at the Myrtle Beach Chamber of Commerce, and
well, they've done well in Myrtle Beach.
They have, and I won't claim credit for that.
We'll blame that on the weather and the golf and
the beach.
And the beach.
Right.
But still, you can ruin that. You can screw that up.
You can screw up anything if you try hard enough. Yes, absolutely. But no, so I worked there for a while. I moved back to West Virginia, where I'm from, and I got a job at a local development authority in Jackson County in 1977. And I worked for this great guy named Jack Burlingame, who was a Marine, and he was there at Iwo Jima when they raised the flag. And he was a great guy, great economic developer, and that's where I got into the craft, so to speak. From there, I worked at a regional council for a while doing grant writing, a regional council much like the Northern Shenandoah Valley Regional Commission,
right,
that does water and sewer projects and a variety of other economic development work. I was an executive director in Lewis County, West Virginia for 11 and a half years, a position just like this one, except
how old are you?
I'm 103. Yeah.
It sounds like
No, I'm 52. I'm 52.
11 years here, 17 years there, 23 years. It's kind of like, okay.
Well, wait a minute, how old is this
Yeah,
guy?
how old is this guy?
No, well, I was in Jackson County for 3 years and just at the regional commission for 2.
Yeah.
So, and then Myrtle Beach for 4. So
yeah, well, that's still pretty good.
Up.
It does add up. It does do that, and it gives you a little broad experience. So, I always tell people, Warren County's got location, it's got rivers, it's got railroad, it's got interstate, it's got
everything.
The mountains, it's got, what are we missing?
Yeah, I don't think we're missing anything.
Other than jobs.
Other than jobs. Well, and we're not as bad off as a lot of people.
No, I guess it sounds like my financial planner. He said, well, you could have lost this much money. So is that what you're going to tell me? We could have had less jobs.
Well, I think we've got great potential. Obviously the inland port having 66 and 81 nearby, the rail, like you say.
Right.
The quality of life factors are certainly here. I understand there's 2 million people a year to go through Skyline Drive, and you've got the opportunity to capture that disposable income from people from out of town.
And we need to capture that, because they just kind of like go through and.
Yeah.
We need to do is change the road so that they have to like snake through, in a maze to get up to
bypass,
the
right?
No bypass.
No bypass. Well, I was fortunate enough yesterday to get to meet with Felicia Hart,
right,
and Jeremy Camp and Joe Waltz at the town, and they were nice enough to take me out on a tour, and we went down to the old Joe's Steakhouse location, right. And Felicia talked at length about the fact that there are all these people coming through, and she's done a lot of good work to try to capture a lot of the people that are using the Appalachian Trail.
Right.
She's working with people in Harper's Ferry to, in fact, to the point where she was talking with them about what groups of hikers were coming through, and they'll be here in a couple of days, to that level. And then she's been working to try to bring in businesses to the town that would appeal to not only the hikers, but the people driving through, and try to get them to stop more for just gas and food.
Yeah, just gas, food, lodging. So,
Right.
but years ago we had a ski resort built here. They were trying to capture that day. It snowed heavily for 10 years, and they built this thing, and it didn't snow a drop for 10 years. So, we have that. Our best advertising, I say, is that sign coming off 495 has a big green sign from VDOT that says Front Royal. I mean, you can't ask for more people see the name Front Royal
Right.
than anywhere. I mean,
Yeah.
and it's just an hour's drive, so we can capture that, those urbanites and have them just for the weekend and holidays, and we are a big recreational area,
Right.
and people don't realize how much money that brings in. I mean, that brings in a lot of money.
It's new money, it's new blood.
And we don't have to build schools for it.
No, it should help pay for
It
them.
should help pay for them.
Absolutely.
So, what's some of the things? I know you did a report, and we'll put some highlights in the story. But just
What have I been doing?
Yeah, what have you been doing? And let's talk about what you've been doing first. Then we'll talk about what you're going to do.
Okay. Well, I've been here, so this is the end of my 4th week, and the first thing that we did, we hired I have a colleague named Gretchen Henderson, who's our administrative assistant, but she is a very hard worker and very talented, and she's helped us get the office organized. We've both been through the files to try to understand what data we have on sites, where we're at on projects, where we're at on our finances.
Right. The mail kind of piles up when there's no one there to look at it.
Yeah. Well, John Anzavino was there, and I gotta say, he did an incredible job, and I'm grateful to him. He helped to reset things and provide some internal structure to how our finances are handled.
He was very focused.
He was very focused, yes, and he's very good at this. He helps out in situations like this.
Yeah, but he knows he's leaving, so see, he can do that.
He is. He's probably on the river right now doing some fishing, if I remember correctly. But now, he did leave me in very good shape as it relates to an understanding of where we're at with our accounts, our debt service, our capital projects. He kind of helped to separate out our financial practices, and so I do feel comfortable in how we're handling our accounts payable and receivables and our payroll, and we're starting to get a picture of what the next 3 to 6 months will look like financially, and what we're going to be capable of and what we're not going to be capable
Right.
of.
That's important, because I notice, finances is always, that's the heart and blood of any business, and the EDA is a business in a sense.
And moreover, we're funded by taxpayer dollars, and the taxpayers of this community deserve to know that their money, their investment in our organization is being managed properly, and that really is my top priority. I'm a taxpayer too.
Exactly.
And the money that we get from the county or through the sale of property that, again, the taxpayers have invested in, it's incumbent upon me to make sure that that's managed right and be accountable. And I'll just tell you, we have a CPA firm that comes in, and they look through the checks that we get in from either our rental properties, our microloan program, or the county. They're making sure those end up in the right place. The checks that we write out to vendors or utilities, I make sure there's an invoice attached to that check. She goes over it. We have 2 board members that sign every check, so there's 4 people that lay eyes on every penny that goes out of the organization.
Well, that's what we've talked about over the past time with a lot of our board of supervisors and our town council and candidates running for these positions, and the 2 words that seems to come to the top is trust and transparency. Mm-hmm. And it's just like any relationship we have, whether it's your marriage, or your government, you have to be able to trust people. Just like your people that you hire, you have to be able to trust them.
Oh, absolutely. And everything's predicated.
It is, and I think people felt like they haven't had. Now all of a sudden you get something happens where you lose that trust. We have divorces, and that's kind of can relate to, elected officials and unelected officials. So, I think that's going to be a hard. It shouldn't be hard, but it will be hard to redevelop that trust that people have, and I think transparency helps do that, and keeping people abreast of what's going on. What maybe not seems important in what you're doing, it might be important to other people, because we take things for granted. We're doing business, and that's just a routine thing, way we do things. But when people are looking in, they don't, they're unaware of a lot of information.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we all have our own perspective.
Right.
I didn't know anything about economic development until I got involved in it. I had no, I was from Parkersburg, West Virginia.
Right.
I had no idea why DuPont and Borg Warner decided to locate huge facilities there. And then you get into economic development, and you're like, oh, well, there's barging and rail and interstate workforce,
and housing, and
right.
And there's a lot of pieces to the puzzle, isn't there?
Absolutely, absolutely. But
you can have all these things and miss one piece. And we got to.
That could be it.
I knew the county over the years. We've worked on our school system. I can remember years ago that was always a weak link in our economic development was schools, and I think they've worked hard on that in the last 30 years, and that doesn't seem to be the issue any longer. Housing, we've been working on that. I think we can continue to work on housing, but right now it just seems like. People feel like there's just a lot of $10 an hour jobs we've been bringing in, warehousing type jobs, and very little high tech or higher paying jobs, and that seems to be.
That's something I want to focus on. I believe the average wage right now in Warren County, the latest figures I've seen, it's $39,500 and some dollars, something in that neighborhood.
But it takes a lot of high paying jobs to get it to 39,000. When you average two numbers together, it's the
right. Oh, sure. Yeah, right. And that's something as we look at the properties we have, we look at the number of jobs, the average wage, the capital investment. Those are really the first three metrics that any economic development authority is going to look at when they entertain a prospect for a property. And while we wouldn't turn down something that's a little below the average wage, we would prefer, and we're going to lean hard toward the ones that have the higher wage, obviously.
Sure.
So there's a lot of factors to take into consideration here. But as far as building, the trust and faith in us, I certainly don't expect people to trust me or have any faith in me just because I'm new.
Because you said so. You're going to prove it.
Absolutely. But that's why I've reached out to the town to try to establish a relationship there. And Felicia Hart and Jeremy Camp have been great already with the tour yesterday. And I need to get up to speed on the planning and zoning, the comprehensive plan for Happy Creek Industrial Park, the Front Royal Warren County Industrial Park, the sites and the buildings and so forth within the town. I've met also with the county planning and zoning. Taryn Logan was nice enough to sit down with me for a couple of hours, and we went through, the things that I need to know there. Still more to learn, but I've got a lot of appointments set with a lot of folks on the workforce side of things. Blue Ridge Technical Center. I'm meeting with them this afternoon to speak with Sarah French about the programs and the curricula and the things that they have to offer the business community. I got to get up to speed on those things.
Because when you're talking to potential businesses, you need to be able to find the highlights and find what hot buttons you need to push to.
I got to know what the resources are to offer.
Right.
And with our existing businesses, I'm dying to get out there and start meeting with the folks, our major employers, and our small businesses.
Sure.
And I met with some of them, but I've been a little swamped in the office.
Yes, and
I got to get out.
You got to. I think I was on the mayor's economic, development council when we were selecting when Felicia got her job, and one of the things I kept stressing to people was, we need somebody that knows how to drag business in. We need a salesman, a champion that believes in our community, and I think that's always the, if if you can't sell it, no matter how good it is, you know,
Right. And
you
you
have to be able to, you got to believe it.
You got to know it's a good community,
and you have to do that.
product.
So you know, you have to have a good product, and I think we do. I think we're sitting on 100 acres over there behind your office. That's probably the best business location we have in the county. At least it's the flattest, you know.
It is that.
I mean, when Avtex went there, they went there because it was the best spot in the county
Sure.
for a lot of reasons. And you know, I think for businesses coming in, it's okay to go out into the corridor and go out into the boonies out there on 522. But a lot of businesses like that. I wouldn't call it urban, but you know, for us it would be, you know, in the city,
Right.
to have those resources of, you know, close to work, close to the restaurants,
The amenities.
the amenities that you have, and to make it more part of community. And and a lot of people, you know, like that. And I think we're sitting on that land out. You know, we have that potential, and the infrastructure is pretty much in, and is planned to finish up some of the pieces. You know, the towns behind it, counties behind it, and we just now need to go and locate these, because I get all the reports, you know, the business, Virginia business, and I see where counties around us have got, you know, 25 jobs here, 200 jobs there, and they're really not high-tech jobs, but, you know, they're more than $10 an hour, and people are investing $2, $5, $10, $20 million in Frederick County, and I look at it and say, well, why didn't they come to Warren County? I mean, we're closer to the city. We have better transportation. You know, how do people make these decisions of why would I go to Frederick County and not come to Warren County?
Right. Well, you know, it's a matter of marketing, and it's a matter of collaborating.
Dragging them in. That's what.
Right. And you know, I think one advantage that we have is, you know, I came from the Virginia Economic Development Partnership. I worked there for 4 years. I know those folks.
I hope you have a good Rolodex. Well, if anybody knows what a Rolodex is, but you know.
Yeah, I'm old enough to remember because I'm 103.
Right, you're 103. So I was hoping, you know, Doug's got a good Rolodex. That's probably why they hired him. He knows who to call. If he can't do it, you know a guy. You know?
Yeah, but you know, I mean, they're not going to, you know, they're certainly not going to show us any favoritism just because I work there. But
right.
I have a good working relationship with those folks, and I can call them at any time and work with them on prospects. And we do have around 4 prospects that we're working with the State Economic Development Partnership on right now. They're in early phases where they're looking at multiple sites around the state,
right,
and in some cases multiple states around the country.
Right.
But I understand how that process works. VEDP has a website where they keep a database of properties throughout the state, and Warren County has 6 properties on that database that we're actively marketing. We're engaged in a project with them right now. It's called the site characterization process. And what they're doing is they're asking all the local developers around the state, myself included, for any existing due diligence, such as geotechnical reports, phase 1 environmental,
right,
wetlands, brownfields, archaeological, cultural studies. And they want us to upload those to the site. And then there's a tier scoring system. And that scoring system goes from 1 to 5, and the higher the number, the more well-developed the site is.
If people don't want to come to a place that they got to wait 3 and 4 and 5, 10 years to go through a lot of hoops to get their project going.
Right.
So I guess they try to call it shovel ready, so to speak.
Right, and that's what Tier 5 is. Tier 5 is, you know,
you can start tomorrow.
You can start, right, exactly. It's the planning and zoning is done. You know, there's a willing seller. The environmental work's been done. There's a survey.
As we all know, there's a lot of red tape and a lot of paperwork in government stuff. You know?
There is.
And the bigger the business, the more it seems to be involved in things. And
right, and the bigger the business, the slower the wheels turn anyway.
Yep, they turn slow.
But the good news is, from what I'm seeing on our sites, both in and out of town, there's a well-developed comprehensive plan in place by the 2 planning departments. And it looks like that there's, you know, good alignment with the sites. You know, this is this should be an industrial site and it's zoned that way. So I don't think there's a lot of instances where we're going to have to go through a whole lot of rezoning if someone comes in, unless it's a unique project. That
Yeah, it seems like I was on the planning commission, and it seems like that we have the zoning in a lot of these places are broad enough to cover just about anything that wants to move on that type of property.
You know, I won't name them, but there's municipalities around us that the planning and zoning is a tall hurdle to cross when a business comes in.
Well, one of the things too that keeps coming up with these new businesses is that, you know, we're just not business friendly. There's too many hoops, and especially small business people don't really. I mean, a large company comes in, waiting a month to do something, that's like waiting a day for me, you know. But a lot of small businesses, so maybe I'll phrase it, we're not small business friendly. You know, we may think we're big business friendly, but you know, we need to get over that hurdle as well too. It seems like, to me, when you go into a government agency, regardless of what it is, it shouldn't be, everything shouldn't just be no. It should be, well, you know, it might be no, but let me see what we can do. Let's show you how we can get it to a yes, and help people be successful instead of putting up barriers and roadblocks to. And I know the town council has been trying to do that with a lot of their parking ordinances. I mean, we've shut businesses out because they don't have enough parking spaces. Town council realized that was a problem. You can't make more parking in towns that just don't have any more parking. You know,
you got to have the physical space
to do it, and they're just not there. So they realized that. So they've made allowances and adjustments to their zoning to say, yeah, you can put your business there. I know you only got 2 spaces, but you need 32. But you know, we're not going to shut the property down because of that. You know, so that takes a little.
I don't mean to speak for Felicia, but she did mention I think they're working on a parking.
Right, they are working on
they're
more
tackling
parking.
the issue.
They know it's a problem, but that's a small thing that, you know, I know for several years that was a real problem, and a lot of businesses went somewhere else or just didn't happen because they were shut down, and they realized it. And I think that's the kind of thing that people need to be aware of. It does turn slow, but we have to have that impression that we're here that our government's here to help us.
Absolutely.
You know, that's the old say, I'm from the government, I'm here to help you. Well, no one believes that.
Running,
yeah, they don't believe that. And I think we need to turn that around in our community, at least, that, you know, I'm from the government and I really am here to help you.
Or maybe you tell them you're here to help them without telling them you're from
the government. Maybe that's
at least in the beginning.
It may be from the beginning. That at least smile, you know what they say. So what is you've got some plans. I know you're going to do some things. Hopefully and I appreciate you coming in to talk to us. Sure. I think if you come back from time to time and let us know the good things that are happening. We got enough bad stuff. We want to know some good things.
Right.
And so when businesses come to town and when they are coming, that we can, you know, invite them with open arms. I mean,
absolutely. And you know, back toward the business attraction. So of course we're going to work with the Virginia Economic Development Partnership. You know, there's a site selection consultancy community out there, and those are businesses that help other businesses decide where to relocate or expand. And I got to know some of those folks through my past jobs, and you know, I'm looking forward to reaching out to them and let them know about what we have to offer here, because you know, we really do have a great.
We got to sell the sizzle
on a wide variety of businesses.
We do. We have to sell the sizzle. We have it, and you know, dirt is dirt and land is land and location. But you know what they say: location, location, location. And I think that you know, we have that. Another thing, people are, you know, we've been hearing, oh, no one's going to come to Warren County with all our problems. But I give the example. I said, you know, when you go bankrupt, the very next day, you're going to get all the credit card offers you want because you've done fixed the problem, and you can't go bankrupt again for 7 years. And I think in our case too, hey, we've identified the problem, we've thrown that bunch out, and we're good to go because we want to make it better. So really, we should be an attraction to places instead of
absolutely. And I think I was asked that question a while back. I think it was when I first started. I think someone asked me, you know, do you think this is going to hinder our business attraction efforts? I really don't think so. I mean, the troubles of the past are what they are, but they're one bucket.
Right.
And you know, I'm from the outside.
Right.
So I feel like I have a little bit of perspective here. I mean, it didn't turn me off from taking.
I was going to say,
right?
You took it. You're going to jump into the fire. I mean, so obviously, that's.
I think the troubles will be dealt with, and my job is EDA work in the present and the future.
Right.
And I'm having faith that I'll be able to concentrate on those things and do the EDA work, because again, we're taxpayer funded, and I think the taxpayers deserve to have someone that's out there competing on behalf of Warren County and Front Royal for new business. But more than that, really working with the existing businesses. We have some incredible businesses here, and if they're struggling, I got to get out there, find them, and help them any way I can.
Sure.
We can't save everybody, but we can certainly save some.
Right.
And then, of course, the new businesses, working with, it's really about networking, not only with site selection consultants, but there's trade show opportunities that you can partner with VEDP. Once you identify who you're chasing, okay.
Yeah, we have to find the right fit for what we're doing. And I like the comment you made. It didn't scare you off, so you see the potential.
Absolutely, and other businesses do too. And we've had prospects come in who were aware of the troubles, but it didn't scare them from reaching out anyway, because that doesn't really affect them.
No.
No. If you're locating either in town or up on the corridor, the troubles don't affect them.
No.
It's still dirt and infrastructure and
that's right. They're looking for the future.
Right. What's my proximity to my customers, my raw materials.
Right.
Having that inland port up there, I don't mean to keep droning on it.
No, but that's important. I think it's kind of out of sight, out of mind, but a lot of stuff goes through there.
Absolutely.
I can tell by the ruts in the road from the trucks. I mean, we've repaired them I don't know how many times. So, of course, luckily that's VDOT spending our state tax dollars on that, but it's still, we know we have more truck traffic.
Asset.
It is an asset, and again, it's one of those things that most people aren't even aware of what they do. Someone said, "What in the world's an inland port doing in? You have a port? You're too far from the ocean." I said, "Well, trust me, it's a port. It's just like sitting on the dock."
Yeah, there's an amazing volume of goods.
It's amazing
through there. So it might as well be a canal from the ocean.
Exactly, and that's basically what it is.
It's just rail instead of water.
And, and another thing we have here, access to the communications. We have a UPS terminal in our town. People maybe consumers don't realize it, but businesses, I mean, that's a great asset. I get stuff delivered here at 9 o'clock in the morning, and we process it, and it goes out at 5 o'clock. I couldn't do that if I was located in Winchester, because I wouldn't get my goods until 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And little things like that may not seem, it's a great advantage, for everything now is just in time of processing. Every time is like that. And I read something on Facebook this morning, and someone says that they mentioned Walmart, and they said, well, if I wanted to do self-checkout, I'd just buy it on Amazon and have it delivered to my door. I want someone to wait on me. And that's a good answer. I mean, think about, that's what we sell. We sell speed and service. And if I'm not getting it, I'm going to go somewhere else.
And service is how small business and even the larger bricks and mortar big boxes are going to be able to distinguish themselves from Amazon, is that personal touch and doing a little extra at the point of purchase.
Sure. I mean, we might not say anything, but our action is with our feet. We just walk away.
In our wallets.
Yeah.
And it's great to be able to go to, I like to hunt and fish, so I always try to go to a local sporting goods store and get what I need versus ordering things from Amazon.
Right.
Or online, period.
Well, I tell that to people too. You really need to support local businesses. If you want to have jobs in our community and these services, you have to support what we have, because that's where the money gets you got to exchange for goods and services in our own community. That ought to be our first choice. I know I get after the town and county about some of their small purchases. They'll buy things online or they'll buy it out of the county. I said, are you looking for if that's available locally first? Our government should at least be buying local first.
They should.
And then they should be buying the county next door, and then they should be being maybe the state before they ever leave the state. They should, even if it costs a little bit more.
Yeah,
I think
there's got to be a balance.
There has to be a balance. There has to be a balance.
Spending
well, that's right.
But I see what
you need to support our local. Everyone needs to start to supporting local businesses, because if not, that's why our Main Street, our merchants are gone. That we've had just when I moved here in the 70s. We had clothing stores and shoe stores and restaurant. We had everything on Main Street. That was our shopping center.
Downtown model
had downtown. It is, and people like that. We had a group of students in here just Wednesday night. Came through, MIT students, and they spent the night here in our studio. And they're driving their bicycles from Washington D.C. to San Francisco, 75 days on a bicycle. There's 8 of them. And they're out there stressing STEM education, the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and they're stopping at 4 or 5 locations along the way to teach classes to middle school and high school students. So it's kind of their MIT thing to do that. But really, they've tried to, they've reached out to the community, and of course, the Royal Examiner is always reaching back. They're talking back to us. So we embraced them and had them come in, and we took them to dinner. We took them to ice cream on Main Street. And the reason I say that is because we were driving down Main Street, and she said, "This is just like my hometown." And so that's the thing that people do. Those memories and those cultures and things that people. They really want. They like small towns.
Sure,
Mayberry. Mayberry RFD. You know what I mean? That's
yeah. Oh, it's very nostalgic.
So it's one of the things we have, and we really hate to see it go away. But it will change. It will change, and I think we have to be aware of that. It's not always going to stay the same. But I'm hoping that going forward now that we can, you can concentrate on helping it out. We'll sit back now. And we'll look a year from now. And we'll say, okay, did we, what's our goals, and did we accomplish them?
Right, sure.
And I think that's how we'll measure your performance. I'm sure the board will do that. And as the board, looks like we'll have a few new members coming up on the board here soon.
And one of the things, and I mentioned when I interviewed, one of the things that I would want to do is update the strategic plan for the organization.
Right.
Now, I'm aware of the visioning plan that was done about a year ago, and that
Yes.
looks like a great plan, and there's obviously a lot of elements.
We had a lot of citizen input on that. It wasn't just two planners sitting in their office doing it.
Right.
They reached out to the community and
got a lot of input.
Got a lot of input. A lot of people participated from that.
It was, and it's a good plan, and we'll certainly have that on the table looking at it as we do our internal plan. But what I was hoping, what I mentioned in the board meeting was not only is it a good thing to do for the obvious reason of updating the plan, but I'm hoping it'll be a good way for me to include the town, business people within the community, the Chamber of Commerce, and a variety of people. And if we can all get to the table and work together, to any extent on that plan, I'm hoping that's a way to build some faith and trust in me as an individual and back into our organization.
Well, we hope you reach out to the Royal Examiner, and we're here to help and keep the word out. We have a lot of viewers. Our last 30-day viewer, we've had 82,000 unique visits to our site. I would say we're reaching beyond our community. Obviously, some of the things that have happened is not our average readership, but our average readership is about 42,000. So that's more than the population of the county. So I think we're reaching a really good amount of people, and local businesses are supporting that. We're advertised based, so it involved. We're not getting rich, but hopefully we can pay our reporters and keep the lights on. You know what I mean? But that's what we want to do, and keep the community informed, because our local media is dying in our country. It's
a different model.
It's
for
a
that
different
too,
model
just
for
like
that too. Yeah,
absolutely.
People say, "Oh, I don't read the newspaper. I just go online." Well, now they carry it on their phone. That telephone has become everything but a phone.
Right. I remember seeing a meme somewhere, and it showed a picture of an old Radio Shack ad from a newspaper in the 70s. And it said below it, "Your phone can do everything that all the items in this ad, because there was an alarm clock,
Right.
and
Flashlight.
a flashlight, and all the things a Radio Shack was selling is now on your phone.
It's now on your phone, yeah.
That's just amazing.
Well, Doug, I really appreciate you coming in, and
problem.
congratulations on your new job. I know it's only been a month, but I said you still have hair, but you said it was longer when you started.
Yeah, it was down my back when I started, and I pulled that much out. So.
Yeah, but I'm sure, and you get a good staff, and you got a good board, and I think if you just keep reaching, for the stars, we'll get there.
Yeah, well, Gretchen she's been fantastic, and
well, I say the Lone Ranger even had Tonto,
Yes.
so you can't do it by yourself, and
Right.
I think you reach out, and the community will support.
Yeah, and I've gotten good support already. Everyone's been very supportive and very kind, because I think they realize we're in a rebuilding stage.
We're rebuilding, and I think, like I said, we'll just reach for the stars. We'll get there.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate it.
No problem.
Thanks again.
No problem.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Mm-hmm.